بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى أهله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, today we resume the study of Hadith number 12. Now, previously in this Hadith, just on a recap, I had mentioned that Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah, in the previous 11 Hadith, because we're on 12, he has brought us so many ahadith with instructions and commands that being a good teacher that he is, he's like, now let me give you a case study in which someone actually lives those commands, where someone actually exemplifies those instructions. Because as human beings, it's not enough just to see theory, you want to see it in action. Something really beautiful that I want you all to appreciate, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about in Surah Al-Bayyinah, He talks about the Quran. Allah says, لَمْ يَكُنِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ مُنْفَكِينَ حَتَّى تَأْتِيَهُمُ الْبَيِّنَةِ. Bayyinah is what? The Quran. Right after it, Allah says, رَسُولٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ يَتْلُو صُحُفًا مُطَهَّرًا. What is this Bayyinah, this Quran? A messenger reciting it upon you. It's only when you take the theory of the Quran, combine it with the messenger who lives the Quran, does it become a hujjah, a clear proof that can change societies, change lives. So Imam Bukhari rahimahullah brings us his instruction. So last session or two, we first talked about the life and times of Imam Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu, what kind of a person he was, when did he accept Islam. We talked about his care and concern for his mother. We talked about how he was so obsessed with hadith that I actually dedicated the entire session on defending the hadith of Abu Hurayrah, because they have come under attack in recent times. They're kind of on hot water. So I defended Abu Hurayrah and the credibility of his transmission and what an incredible scholar he was and how he burned the midnight oil. And he put the miles and the efforts, to make sure that he became the best scholars that he could be. Today, inshallah, we move on to the actual narration that Imam Bukhari has brought for us. So, Imam Bukhari tells us that Abu Hurayrah had a student named Abu Murrah. Abu Murrah says that my teacher Abu Hurayrah had a good relationship with the governor of Medina, Marwan. In fact, they were so tight and so cozy that when Marwan would go out of town, guess who he would put in charge of Medina? Abu Hurayrah. In other words, Abu Hurayrah was his deputy when Marwan is out of town. First thing to appreciate here, Abu Hurayrah is in good standings with the officials, with the governors. In other words, he knows the people in the upper echelons of society, meaning he's a highly respected member of the community. I want you to appreciate that and keep this in the back of your mind, because when you are hanging out with celebrities and you're hanging out with people they're the elites of society, you can afford to live in a pretty nice neighborhood. Yet the hadith goes on to say that Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu, his house was in Dhul Hulayfa, which is slightly outside of Medina. Why? Because his mother's house was slightly outside of Medina in Dhul Hulayfa. He wanted to make sure that he was on the talking and a walking distance from his mother. Why? Because his mother is old. He wants to be able to take care of his mother. He wants to make sure that he can share dinner with her. He wants to make sure that he's there for her financially, emotionally. He's her 911. In case any situation goes wrong, Abu Hurayrah is right there. He's on a talking, walking distance from his mother. This is what Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu used to do. Now, hadith goes on to share something beautiful. Abu Hurayrah had this beautiful habit. And that's the case study now. This is where now all these previous ahadith kind of come to life. Abu Hurayrah had this beautiful habit. Anytime he would leave his house, what he would do is that he would go to the door of his mother and do small talk. Try to start a small conversation with his mom. He would say, Assalamu alayki wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And they would start a conversation, just a small talk. And he would do that regularly, frequently talking to his parents. You know how rare that is with our teenagers? Have you ever seen a teenager having a peer-to-peer normal conversation with his parents that's not like super awkward? It's kind of rare. It's tough to see that. It's tough to find that, where parents and children are just having like I said, a normal conversation. Like parents will try to start a conversation. Hey son, how was your day today? It was okay. Where did you go? Somewhere. What are you gonna do? Something. cryptic, canned conversations. It doesn't go very far. Now the crazy thing is, when our kids were young, they craved our attention. Like, parents are everything to them. They crave your approval and your attention, but as they grow older, you will crave their attention. And if you didn't give it to them when they were young, they're definitely not going to give it to you when you seek it. And especially to the fathers in the audience, please, we have a crisis on our hands. I mean, I get it. You come home from work, you had a long, excruciating work, and you come home, you're tired, and you just want to sleep, and you don't want to deal with your kids' nonsense. Or the game's on, and you're like, honey, can you just take him out of here? Like, go to your room. You don't want to, you come home, your job is ended, now the vacation starts. No, your real job starts when you come home. And if you don't deal with that, you don't give them the time now, you don't put in the initial investment, when you want their attention, they won't be there. A lot of times, this separation that occurs between the child and the father early on, that rift continues to grow bigger and bigger. So especially to the fathers, let us put the time now. Let us make the investment now. So inshallah, down the road, it bears fruits. So Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu just appreciate that, man, he would try to make small talk with his mom, and part of the small talk was, and this is how the hadith ends, he tells his mom, Rahimakillah, kama rabbaytini saghira. He made a little dua for his mom, and he said, oh my mother, may Allah have mercy on you as you had mercy on me when I was little. May Allah take care of you with the same care and concern as you took care of me when I was young. So the mother would respond. She would say, Rahimakallahu kama barartani kabira. Oh no, may Allah have mercy on you the way you honor me when I'm old now. The way you're there for me when I'm old. The way you take care of my needs because I can no longer take care of myself. Just 2 points of benefit and then we're done. First, I want you to appreciate that Abu Hurayrah, despite the fact he's a celebrity, governor puts him in charge when he leaves the city. People from all over the Muslim world are coming to Abu Hurayrah to take hadith. Abu Hurayrah is one of the most celebrated authority on hadith. The guy has hadith sessions going on, despite the fact that he's a governor or sub-governor, an imam, an authority, a faqih. All these hats that he's wearing, yet he's not too busy for his mother. Still makes it a point and he still makes it a priority to make sure that he's having regular, frequent conversations. Like, he's still down to earth, despite the fact that everything that's going on in his life. So I hope, my dear audience, is that I'm going to ask you, I don't know what your schedule with your parents are, like how often you talk to them, especially if they live in a different state or a different country. Like, do you talk to them once a week? Once a month? Sometimes just the Mother's Day, the conversations occur. Make sure you're not too busy for your parents, and then the final benefit. And that is that Abu Hurayrah, this is so beautiful. Abu Hurayrah is now a grown man. Like, it's been a while, it's been a minute since he was a little kid who had to be actively full-time taken care of. Like, he's been standing on his feet. He's been self-sufficient for a while. His mama hadn't have to worry about him and do his laundry and just support him full-time for a while. He's, mashallah, 40, 50 years old at this point. So it's been a while since he has the memory of his mother taking care of him actively. Yet, now that he is self-sufficient, now that he is self-reliant, and he's fully independent, he still hasn't forgotten the little sacrifices and services that his mother has done for him. To a point that in every small talk, what does he say? Rahimakillahu kama rabbaytini saghira. Still remembers, Mama, you did a lot for me. I haven't forgotten the diapers. Mama, I haven't forgotten those amazing meals. Still remembers those efforts, and he's still making dua for it. I'm telling you folks, when you reach a point in life where you have become successful or accomplished, where you've achieved something, it's easy to forget the people who were your ladders to get there. People who became your stepping stones to reach the status that you have now reached. It's easy to forget those. But it takes a very quality human being to remember and thank the people who got you there. And our Prophet ﷺ was like this. That Khadija, she was there for him in the early days. And when she passed away, years after she passed away, he would look at her jewelry and he would tear up. And he used to say, Allah has not given me a woman better than Khadija. She was there for me when no one was. She believed in me when no one did. And he kept sending gifts to the family of Khadija long after Khadija passed away, announcing to the world, this is what loyalty is all about, for people who are there for you in the early days. Not when you become popular, not when you're a YouTube phenomenon, not when you're an Instagram celebrity. It's like when you're a nobody and someone still has faith in you, that goes a long way. Abu Hurayrah kind of like that as my mom, like, you took care of me. I haven't forgotten that even though if I'm 50. SubhanAllah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be people who are loyal, people who are deeply grateful. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take care of our parents. SubhanAllah, Rabbil Izzati Amma Yasifun. Salamun ala al-Mursaleen. Alhamdulillah.